name is Jonathan Mansoori. I am a community organizer and a regional manager for a national nonprofit that focuses on leadership development and training other folks to community organize and community organizing parents and students and teachers around education issues, school safety issues, school issues at large. And I've been in this community my whole life. So this is home to me. As a former teacher and as a community organizer currently, for years I've been fighting for children, for families, for our communities. And this is not something that I'm promising if I'm on city council. I mean, I do this day to day. What I'm passionate about and what I will continue doing. As a new and a younger candidate, I'm offering a new vision. I'm offering a new era that we're going to be pushing forward, pushing our city really forward. It's funny because I never thought about politics. I was pre-med my whole life. I wanted to become that, good Persian boy that, was a doctor, but ultimately I became a teacher. I fell in love with education, but I realized teaching wasn't enough. I started to see a lot of issues in my community, a lot of issues in education, and I became a community organizer for that reason. Coming back to my community, I started realizing that there is a lot of issues in our city, and I felt like as a community organizer that's not enough. We are lacking leadership, we're lacking a vision. There's so many reasons why I love this city. I mean, we have so much diversity, we have a vibrant downtown. This is a community that loves to be outside, that loves the trails. This is a community that's really passionate about education. I mean, we're the city of education. This is a community that's really engaged and really involved, and I love that about our city. That's something beautiful that I think we're all getting involved in. It's not just people who are running for office, but the community is very active in making sure that we are preserving our community, that's pushing our community forward. There are several issues that are affecting Fullerton because of the lack of leadership that we have here. We just hit 7,000 doors that me and my team have been knocking on. And we're seeing a consistency of four issues. One is the condition of our roads and our infrastructure. We just got to make sure that we have a long-term solution to be able to be addressing this. The second one is development. A lot of folks are pretty angry about, there's overdevelopment, primarily around the Coyote Hills issue. And this is pertaining to our environment as well. We got to make sure that we're strengthening our economy locally, and that means that we are diversifying our portfolio with what Fullerton offers. I mean, we have so much more to offer here than just the downtown of bars, right? And the fourth issue is around our homelessness. I think we can do so much more, and this is something that a lot of folks care about. My mom, several friends, and some of my family are my top donors. I'm not receiving any big money, and what I do want to note is that we've received hundreds of donations. I mean, our average contribution is just underneath $50. And this just means that I've built relationships in the past. I really believe in the leadership that we're pushing for. So the proper role of a member of city council is to really set the priorities of what we're going to be doing in the city. Prioritizing, what money are we going to be spending on services that are ranging from sanitation to infrastructure to our police to our housing. These are things that affect our day-to-day lives, right? The proper view is someone who's going to be listening to the concerns of all of the communities in Fullerton and being that leader that's not just going to be protecting Fullerton, but it's also going to be driving it forward. Moving to district elections is the right thing to do. This is not just a legal issue, but this is, how are we going to make sure that our power and our representation in the city is equitable? If our city council hasn't looked like our general community in several decades, that's a concern. Coyote Hills should be protected from development. I feel pretty adamantly about this. I will do everything I can when I'm in council to make sure that we can delay or prevent this development from moving forward. This is one of the key issues that transcends party lines. I mean, this is something that we're hearing at every door, Republican, Democrat. This is something the community deeply feels. This is something we voted on in 2012, that we didn't want it. So the council is going to feel that heavy weight. The Fox Theater is one of our gems of our city, and it should continue to be restored. This is a a plan that I would love to keep pushing forward in a sustainable way. Because this is a space that could really cultivate the arts, could really cultivate a sense of our history in our city. I mean, this is a great opportunity to really diversify our portfolio of our downtown. So it's more attracting to families and making sure that it's not just a bar scene, that we could have the arts there as well. The families can come and enjoy their evenings at the theater. So regarding affordable housing, we could do so much better. Across the board, housing prices are going up and fewer families are able to afford housing here in Fullerton. Through partnerships, through smart and responsible development, we can push for a city that can say that if you grew up here, if you have family here, if you go to school here, if you want to open up a business here, if you want to open up an art studio here, you can afford to live here. So good work has been done by local organizations and local entities. I understand that homelessness is a complex and difficult problem to talk about, but that cannot be a barrier to wanting to solve it. I fully support opening a permanent year-round housing shelter in Fullerton, as well as mental health initiatives, to making sure that we are fully implementing the recommendations from the task force and reevaluating it. How are we doing? I think we can do so much better than what we are currently doing. So we're recovering as a city, and so is the police department. This is, while this is a systemic issue, there are people within the department and with the community that want to make the relationships better. This is something that we need to make sure that, as the dust is settling, that we are focused on, pushing forward community policing practices, that making sure that we were rebuilding relationships in our communities, because at the end of the day, that's what we need to do to keep moving forward. So I echo a lot of the concerns that our residents have. This is something that I'm hearing a lot. The fact that our downtown is identified as a bar scene is a problem. The fact that we have to allocate a lot of city resources and public safety resources at nights is something that I think we should be mindful of. Our plan is to make sure we are diversifying, like I said earlier, diversifying our portfolio of what Fullerton has to offer, especially our downtown, because we can't just be a downtown with bars. Our plan is to make sure we are attracting local businesses that are diverse, to make sure we are retaining them as well, so we can attract more folks. We're not trying to eliminate bars, we're just trying to diversify what we have in downtown. And I think that will solve inevitably some of the public safety issues that we are having. As a son of immigrant parents, as a former teacher, as a community organizer, I think I know what it takes to be able to, make sure we have diverse voices on council. I've been through tough negotiations when I've been working at nonprofits. I understand how to negotiate pretty hard. I am pretty young though, and I think that's a good thing. I don't necessarily see anyone on council that represents me in my background or my generation. And if we are setting up a city for the future, I'm not hearing any of that. And I want to make sure that when we're on council, we are pushing ideas in council that are setting up our city for long-term success.